Hello and welcome, everyone. I am your friendly neighborhood hookahologist, also known as Tommy Atomic Rodriguez. How's everyone doing tonight? Well, what are we talking about today, Tommy? Well, we're going to be talking about some great Tangiers today because I made a trip out to Fresno last Tuesday when I had to do something for work. Well, they sent me to Selma, and Selma was like, all right, cool, let's just go to. Selma's only 15 minutes away from Fresno, so let's just go to Fresno. So I picked up some Tangiers because it's the only place in California. I forget what the smoke shop is. Right across the street from Fresno State. That's where you can pick up a lot of Tangiers. So I went for foreplay on peach. They didn't have any. Very sad. But what they did have was some fantastic buttercook. Yeah, I like saying that word buttercook. It's funny. It makes me laugh. It's just the way I say it. I think it's funny. Anyways, I got some number 52 peach cobbler. Does anyone else go by their numbers? I know I don't for sure. That's for damn sure. I do not go by the numbers. I don't know why. Some people would, I guess. I was just watching Paul's video on Hookah University, and we were talking a little bit. I personally don't use it, so but I don't think many people do. I think if you do, you're one of those people who do. Cool. If not, good for you. But if not, you're like the rest of us. We don't use it. So, what are my impressions of the dark leaf Tangiers? First of all, I'm smoking on two cubed coals in my 80 feet 80 bowl with the Seoka hookah with my Mason timber hose per usual, the usual setup here. We're working on getting another one. Since it is tax time, we're gonna have a new hookah review for you guys fairly soon, possibly. I'm not gonna promise nothing, but maybe. I'm thinking about it. Whew. And let me tell you, I've been smoking this bowl. This is probably like the third or fourth bowl that I've packed. Fifth bowl. I've been smoking this a lot lately. Got 250 grams. Been playing with it a little bit. Been using different types of bowls and different types of heat and see what will work because I haven't smoked Tangiers in the house in a while. So had to experiment. Had to be a hookahologist for a little bit. You know what I mean? Whoo! This is a very underrated flavor. I don't think a lot of people use the green. The green labeled is Berkuk, and then there's the Noir flavor. And I think it's like the yellow packaging for most of them, if I remember correctly. So yeah, this is actually really good. It's real peachy, real smooth. I've never had peach cobbler in real life, but now I think I have to. Now, the first time I ever smoked Tangiers was at the Red Room over in San Jose. If you're in the Bay Area, if you're in my neck of the woods, San Jose is probably the closest place you can get to a lot of hookah lounges. So I tried it for the first time ever, and I was so used to shooting some massive clouds, but then when I kept doing that with Tangiers, I got real nicotine high. I was just not feeling okay. But then I realized, well, somebody was smoking it with me and told me like Tangiers isn't a flavor you need to just rip. It's kind of one of those flavors you need to just kind of subtly take in if you're not really used to it. So now that I'm used to it, I take Dragon Reds, but at first it's never a good idea. Tangiers is a dark leaf flavor that you need to take very lightly at first when you're trying to branch your way into dark leaf. You gotta kind of ease your way to it. You know what I mean? So, but if you smoke Tangiers, you're already used to it, right? But for everybody who's not, because I understand that people who watch these videos are kind of new to smoking hookah a little bit, and that's why I made this channel so people can understand and see my reviews and see what I feel would be a good choice picking flavors. So that's my little tidbit, a little bit of how tidbit, a little bit, my little tidbit of what to expect while smoking a flavor like Tangier, like peach cobbler from a brand from like Tangiers. So keep in mind, guys, this is very, very bold. It's very strong flavors. You have to be very careful on how you inhale it, because if not, you're gonna end up making yourself sick, and no one wants that. And this is an amazing flavor. I can tell you that right now. Got my green tea per usual, my Vader cup. Gotta have some tea when you smoke, guys. Trust me, if you don't do it, you should. It's a good idea. Now, let's get started about this flavor. What I really do like about this flavor is that it's very peachy. It's a very nice peach flavor. It's not too overwhelming with anything else. It's a little creamy for the not cobbler taste, but it's a dessert flavor. It's definitely something sweet on the sweeter side. If you're not really liking that, so I mean, if you don't like sweet flavors, then this may not be the flavor for you. But if you really do enjoy a good peach flavor, or a good like real sweet flavor taste, this is gonna be a good choice for you. I never have problem with clouds with the Seoka or this brand in particular. I've smoked a handful of Tangiers brands out of my Seoka, and every time I smoke a Tangiers flavor, it's never a bad time. So, I mean, with the exception of cherry limeade, I found that after a while it wouldn't be so kind to me. But I think that might have been the way I was packing it. Oh, excuse me. So that's not the best flavor to kind of ease your way into, but it is a flavor that you would care to enjoy if you're really into these sweets, kind of creamy esque flavors. Because I want to say it's a little creamy, but I think it's just because I had candy earlier, so I still have a little bit of the sweet candy taste in my mouth. So this is a flavor that you really have to be very kind with because I did smoke out of a Harmony bowl, not a Harmony bowl, one of my OG alpaca bowl, right? And I had 3 cubes on there, and it didn't take heat very well. So I had to use a Provost the second time. It was a little bit better. So another thing about Tangiers, it's very heat sensitive. So if you're not really used to packing it and you just want to smoke hot, then I think that's a good way to use it. But if you don't like to smoke hot, like I don't, right? So it makes it a little bit easier to smoke with a Provost lid or maybe some kind of HMD to kind of minimize the heat a little bit to kind of manage it a little bit more. That's usually how most people like to use them. So keep in mind that not everybody will use a heat management device. I usually don't, and I kind of don't like them for the most part, but they are a very useful tool to smoke in a brand like Tangiers or similar dark leaves, right? So always keep that in mind too. If you don't have something, or you can, I guess you can even double foil it for a little bit to get that little extra layer of tin foil to kind of give you that heat management kind of feel to it. I haven't tried it. Maybe I should see if it makes a difference. But from what I'm noticing, it doesn't make a difference when you have a have a Provost lid, or if you even have the foil. So you got to kind of pick and choose as you smoke a Tanger's bowl. You have to figure out because there are some bowls made for it. I should have brought it out. I don't really want to get up and get it, but there is a Tangiers bowl that you can use for Tangiers. It's a very small bowl, probably about that big. I think is how big the bowl is, something around there. That's what you would be using, right, for a Tangiers bowl. And you can use flats on there. Don't use cubes because it's too small of a bowl to use cubes. So like I said, I really am enjoying this flavor. I really do enjoy this bowl, so I'm not gonna drag on too long of how much I really enjoy it. As much as I'd love to hear myself talk, but for the cliff notes here, for someone tuning in a little bit later, it is a very sweet flavor. It is a very delicious flavor. When you smell the flavor itself, it smells like peach rings, and that's what got me super excited for it because I love candy. So the smell of peach rings was actually a very interesting. Sorry for itchy today. A real great feeling for me because I love candy. So this was even more exciting to try, right? So in true hookologist fashion, we're gonna rate this from a scale of 1 to 10 from the inhale and exhale. So let's start with the inhale. So as you're inhaling, you're gonna really taste that peach, right? So and it's very depending on how much you inhale, because I know I don't inhale. I know people who inhale like this, right? Or when I have people over and they don't really know how to smoke hookah, they think it's like smoking weed, so they just go like this, and every time it never fails. Every person who smokes a lot of weed and doesn't smoke hookah smokes like this, and I've seen it 100 times, and it always has me laugh. and they wonder why they don't get so big of clouds. Is because you're not supposed to smoke it like you're smoking weed. Oh, that kind of hurt me a little bit. Anyways, now, what in the inhale, you really do taste the peach. It kind of just like gradually gets in your face. Like it's not bam, right, like, pow, right, because it's just kind of gradually coming in, right? And now when it releases, as you're going to see me talk about in a second, it's a lot more of a peach flavor just as it's going in and it's going out. I actually don't taste peach rings, although the smell did make it seem like that. So I thought I was going to be tasting something candy-ish, but it wasn't. It was more of a dessert than it was a candy, and I was like, oh, it's kind of a little disappointing because how much I love the peach rings. So the exhale now. For me, in particular, somebody else can have the same feeling or not. I get a little bit of a tingly sensation as it's exhaling. Like I can taste little peach particles, I guess, like come out of my mouth as I'm smoking. So it's just kind of a different kind of taste coming out that it is coming in. So it's a very different kind of feel for the most part from what I'm tasting, right? So I mean, given that in mind, like on the inhale, it's very sweet, it's very peachy, and coming out, it's still a little tingly and it's still kind of left in my mouth. Like I want more. As I exhale, oh, sorry for shaking the camera, I kicked the table. It makes me want to smoke more and more as I keep enjoying this. So it's a very, very interesting taste to me, and it's a very soothing taste for the most part. I really do like how it comes out as it does come in. Pause. So it is a very enjoyable flavor for the most part. So if you're just getting into Tangiers and you're just starting to branch your way into this dark leaf kind of area, this is one of those flavors where it's not too super strong, where you can enjoy and still have a enjoyable smoke compared to maybe some other things. So with that being said, I have to give this flavor a 9 out of 10 just because I was a little miss. I got my hopes up thinking it was like peach rings, and it wasn't. So, I mean, to me, that kind of makes me a little sad. So, I don't want to give it a full 10 out of 10, but it is still a fantastic flavor. If you want to try it for yourself, you can get it at a lot of different places. hookahjohn.com, Hookah Junkie, 5-Star Hookah, Ultimate Hookah. There's like plenty of places where you can get your hands on these flavors. So, I suggest that you try peach cobbler for yourself. It may be one of the few flavors that you may not kind of sleep on, be like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be a good flavor. Trust me, you're not going to go wrong. It's actually one of the most enjoyable flavors from Tangiers I've smoked since I've started smoking Tangiers for about 2 years now. So I kind of go off and on with Tangiers and a lot of other stuff, but I do kind of go back to Tangiers every once in a while when I'm having like one of those long days, like having a glass of whiskey or having a very strong mixed drink at the end of a long work week. That's what I smoke. I smoke some Tangiers. So with that being said, that's all I have for you guys in this video. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and or Twitter under the _hookahologist. Find me on Facebook. Look at this beautiful face, Tommy Rodriguez. And be sure to follow us on Facebook as well, where we post these videos and much more on the Facebook page, The Hookahhologist. And until next time, guys. Keep smoking. It's the most awkward part every time.